We are officially live. Hey, ladies. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey.
Oh no.
For everybody that is new to our broadcast, welcome to the Professional Women in Real Estate, brought to you by none other than Women's Council of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. We are so excited that you have decided to join us today for our segment on the one thing. You know, when coming up with these titles, it's like, what do we talk about? You know, this is all about the boss lady. So I'm just privileged to have a screen full of bosses on here and to be surrounded by so many boss ladies in my profession. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce our fabulous host and co host. Our host, none other than Madam Tanya Hayes. Hey, Madam Tanya.
Hi.
And then we'll move on into our fabulous co host, Madam Latanya Donaldson.
Hey, hey, hey. How's everyone doing out there? So glad to be back and hosting yet another amazing episode. And I can't wait to dig in because these fabulous ladies we have, oh, I can't wait.
Yes. You know, here's the thing, Latanya. When tossing the coin as to who gets to introduce Viola, it was like, okay, is this for Latanya or is this for Letitia? And I know that you and Viola have a rich history. So we'll have to continue to think about that. But let's go ahead and start with we're bringing you back from last week. Erica with Truist. Erica, welcome back to our platform today.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be back. You all left me excited in the last call, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Yes. Now, Tanya, Latanya, is it going to be me or is it going to be you?
Well, you know what I was thinking, Madam President? I think it should be you, but I may have to just hop in there and just add something because, yes, you are right. We have a rich history, and I love this woman, but I will allow you to do the honors
Oh,
today.
go ahead. That's what I'm talking about. I sure thank you. So, guys, I am privileged to have today Miss Viola Solomon. Viola and I met it seems like so many years ago. Actually, it's been a while. We met a very long time, and I have had the privilege of working with Viola with several different banks, and now she is with U.S. Bank, leading a team, definitely here in Houston. Just before we started this call, we were on the phone with one of the individuals on her team, trying to work through some Section 8 buyers and all that good stuff. So I'm just excited to have Viola on the team with Women's Council and, of course, on this call. You talk about a force to be reckoned with, and she is just that. You talk about someone telling it like it is, and she is just that. So I would like to introduce Miss Viola Solomon today.
Thank you so much, Letitia. You are so kind. I am so grateful to be here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So thank you, Latanya, for your kind words and to the other wonderful women that are on this panel today. It is really an honor for me to be here. So I am, like she said, Viola Solomon. I am the Texas Community Lending Manager for U.S. Bank. I'm so happy to be a part of the organization. They have certainly met every expectation of mine since I've been here. So I've been in the mortgage business for a very long time, almost 4 decades. That's a long time, y'all. So y'all not even 40, some of y'all yet. So anyway, but I've been doing this a long time and I love the business and I'm just grateful to be here today and take part in this conversation. So thank you for having US Bank here today.
Thank you so very much for that. And just as Truist and Prime Lending US Bank is one of our sponsors with Women's Council, so we would like to thank you guys for your sponsorship, but most importantly, for your partnership. I mean, that just means so much more to us in helping us spread the word of financial literacy within our community. So enough with all of that. I'm going to pass it back over to Madam Tanya so that we can give the people what they're looking for and what they came here for today.
Oh my goodness. Hi, ladies. Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Erica, Viola, Latanya, just everyone for just taking the time out to be here today. So last episode, especially Miss Viola, we spoke about some challenges specifically for women in the workplace. And it was a very enlightening episode in terms of just to hear the feedback of Erica and just her challenges that she's faced and in her upward path in her career. And I am working on getting those shower affirmations, Erica. I have that on my to-do list to put in my Amazon cart because I really did love that you shared. But this particular episode is about the one thing. So there's usually some major pivotal points that happen within our career that we just catapulted. And so if you had to, this episode is about if you had to contribute your career to one thing, what would it be? And obviously, there's a ton of outside factors that contribute to that. But I really want to take a dive into our personal lives. So, if you had to examine your personal sphere, family, friends, and or your partner, so your spouse, who was or is the single most pivotal person who contributed to your career success? And what were their attributes that helped or motivated you? And Miss Viola, I will go ahead and start with you, and then from there, Erica.
Okay, thank you, Tanya. And you guys tell me if something's going on with the sound. So raise your hand or something. So I would like to say it was my sister who helped me navigate this journey. My sister was she was a senior leader in the aerospace field, and she rose up the ladder, if you will, fairly quickly in her career. What she did, she ended up working for NASA, McDonnell Douglas, MIT, and then she retired from Boeing. But as I started to climb the ladder, if you will, or start moving, in my career, my sister told me not to be emotional when I went into a room. I'm an emotional person. I'm passionate, and sometimes the two blend in. And so she taught me how people. She told me that she was in a room with a lot of people. Not only was she the only Black woman in the room, sometimes she was the only woman in the room. And she said that when you become emotional, people automatically discount you. And it's just the way our brains are wired, right? Men and women or whomever, whatever our personalities or whatever. And so she taught me how to come to the table with facts, come to the table with matrix, come to the table with what's going to make our bottom line better and why we need to do the things that I was suggesting. So I had to change my whole way of thinking when I went into a room. It wasn't just about my emotions, right? About the communities that I loved, about the LOs that I was representing. It was about why this made sense financially to some people that really didn't care about all of that emotional stuff. So that's what she taught me. And that was pivotal for me in my career.
I love that, Viola. I love it because something that I had mentioned in our last call is that there is power in calmness, and you just reminded me of that very point. It is so important. And just to go ahead and answer that same question, I would have to say that it actually was my mother. So I am the only child. My mother and I obviously were very close, and she was a young mother too. So essentially, we grew up together. So I think my mother lived vicariously through me in a lot of ways, right? She was always building up my confidence and telling me you can do whatever it is you want to do, but remember one thing: it's never truly about you. And she stood fast in that. And I used to be, when I was younger, very judgmental. Like I would see something or someone doing, a thing, and I would have a lot of commentary about it, right? Like, why is that person doing this? And my mother used to tell me, you never know what that person's situation is. You never know what you might do in that situation. And so what it taught me was a different level of compassion and to meet people where they are. And the more that you can do that, the more impactful, the more influence that you have because you're meeting people where they are. You're getting that message across to where they're receptive to what you have to say. And essentially, that means you can be in any circle. It doesn't matter what the room looks like. You have a way of kind of having that grounding, having common ground, and being able to focus on your message. What are you trying to get across? And again, success in business generally starts from relationships. So if you can reach common ground, if you can build relationships, realize it's not about you, it's about what you're trying to get accomplished. It's about the community. It's about the bottom line. You're going to be more successful in your endeavors.
Yeah. So what you ladies are speaking about is emotional IQ, as I call it. And just in this past year, I've read a lot of books on it because, to your point, Viola, I can be emotionally charged. People say all the time, if you want to know what LaTonya's thinking, her facial expressions are going to give it away each time. But there is power. You're so right, Erica, because I did think about your comment you made last week, the power in the calmness, because I think it's vitally important for you to have emotional IQ. I don't know how you, as a leader, if you're going to be you're going to have impact within your teams, you have to have emotional IQ. And it is something that is learned, for most people. And it's a journey. It's something that you have to continue to practice and continue to get better at. So I had a question. So, of course, we can simultaneously have negative and positive experiences within our personal spheres. However, in the event where the people that are closest to us become dream killers, how do you approach that and set healthy boundaries to avoid them or stop them from interfering with your vision? We all know them. Haters.
This is why I love my co-host.
That was so passionate. I love it.
Yes,
there was that passion. See there?
Yes, it's okay.
So I can kick us off, and then Viola, love to hear your response to this. So I protect my energy at all costs. I protect my space. And I have had leaders that have been like negative Nellies, right? Or they have something negative to say. And LaTonya, actually think you might have mentioned this last week, but that has more to do with them than it has to do with me, right? So things like that roll off my shoulder, but you can't be in my personal space. So I protect that with everything that I have. That is whether it is business-wise, whether it's personal. If you come with that negative energy, you are quickly exited out of the room. And I don't feel bad about it. Like, I don't even think twice about it because, my husband just made me think about this. This is so funny to me, but my husband, he will, what is it? What's the herb? It's not coming to my mind right now.
Sage.
No. But you burn it in your house. What is it?
Sage.
Sage. Thank you. Yes, sage. My husband will burn sage.
Like, what are we talking about?
He was like, we got to get that spirit out of here. That is not going to work. It's funny, and he's done it a few times, and it cracks me up. But it's so true, right? Because haters are always going to hate. That is going to happen until the day we depart. But you know what? I appreciate those haters too, because what that does tell you is that you're doing something right. You're doing something that people admire. You are on the right track. So read it for what it is, but keep them at bay. That is my rule right there.
Wow.
Viola, how do you handle them haters?
I am pretty good at reading people. I have to admit that I think I have a gift for that. And I think we all have that to a certain extent. So I can recognize when people are there to derail my progress or derail my career, if you want to say that. But, they can't do it. I mean, right? I tend to listen to those people sometimes and get their feedback, especially, some days if it's good feedback or whatever, I'll feedback. And then if I don't like it, I do what I want to do with it. But for the most part, I'm a person of faith. So I lean on God and then I follow my heart about that situation. So yeah, I can read it fairly quickly and, kind of dismiss that energy.
I just have to add this one thing. And I learned this from a very dear friend of mine some years ago, and I use it on a regular basis. What you think of me is none of my business.
I love
Yeah,
that.
None
that's
of my business.
good.
Absolutely correct. You
Hmm.
know, guys, as Erica, as you were talking, I looked down at Viola because I knew Viola was going next, and I was just sitting here admiring her hair. And then I started saying to myself, wait, every time I see her, her hair is beautiful every time. So, Viola, come on now. That
You are so kind. Thank you.
and then Erica, as you were talking, I know last episode I told you I said we are soul sisters, right? We just but then you're talking, my mom had me when she was 19. So my mom is my best friend. And I take so much from her, like her leadership, her guidance. I mean, all of that stuff. I don't know that people realize the importance of having a solid foundation in the place that you should feel safe, right? And that just, so if I had to talk about the one thing, I would definitely say it would be my foundation. And just the fact that I've always, my entire life, I felt safe with my entire family. It's just a beautiful thing. And as you get older, you realize that everyone's life isn't the same and that everybody did not have that. And I just,
Yeah.
feel that
Yeah.
is, yeah,
Mhm.
that's very unfortunate. But to even say now, there are those areas in which we can make choices. So there is a saying that says the most important decision that you'll ever make in your career is who you choose as a spouse.
Yeah.
How did you choose? So for y'all, how did you choose your spouse? And Tonya and I, we talk about this all the time. How do you
We
meet
do.
people in this business? My goodness, it's crazy out there. And the dating world is a mess. If I had never been married, I don't know that I'd ever get married. So Viola, we'll start with you. And I know you have a beautiful grandbaby and all that good stuff.
Beautiful grandbaby.
Thank you. He's going to be here. I told them don't come until after 5. So they'll be here after 5 today. But I'm going to shut down my computer. I'm telling everybody, right? I'm going to shut it down at 5:01 and I'm playing with him the rest of the night. So it's good stuff. But thank you for that question. And so I'm glad that I get to answer this question because maybe my ex is out there and he can hear, he'll hear this. But I was married for 21 years and I truly appreciate my ex-husband to this day. We're friends to this day. And let me tell you, I was in operations. And so if you know anything about operations, you know that's a regular paycheck every 2 weeks. Well, I wanted to go to sales. Back then, when I got into sales, it was straight commission. And I mean straight commission. It wasn't this forgivable draw and all that stuff that, LOs get today. It was straight commission. If you didn't close nothing, you didn't get a paycheck. And if you missed a couple of paychecks, you had to send them a check for your benefits.
Right.
So I was so scared to take the plunge. But my ex told me that, hey, what I'll do is get an extra job. You go ahead and pursue that career. Go ahead and leap over into sales, and I'll take care of everything else. And I tell you, to this day, everything else is history, basically. But had it not been for him committing to taking over our household expenses, all of them, because he's a policeman, he's a chief of police now. But back then, he was just a regular policeman. We weren't making a lot of money and I was a processor. So, we just had an average life. But for him to take over those responsibilities, it meant the world to me to this day. And so I have to say that he was a pivotal part of my career.
Awesome.
Love that. Love
Yeah,
that.
so my mom has this saying, and Erica, I'm gonna let you answer that same question. that, and I'm sure you guys have always heard it, people come into your life for a reason and or for a season.
Yes.
So because of what you just said, it reminded me of my second husband. I've been married 2 times. I'm a young woman, but I don't waste no time. I'm gonna get in and I'm gonna get out if I need to. So
Madam President, what are we gonna do with you? I love it. She's so authentic.
That's good.
It's a blessing.
So, but my second husband, it is because of him that I sit here today, because of the support that he gave me. And he said, start your own business, no problem, I'll pay all the bills. Now, unfortunately for him, he didn't get to keep me but 90 days. So day 91, I was already back in my mama's house. But it did land me here.
It was a reason. for the
Erica,
season.
And she's describing that like a layaway plan.
Wow.
Now, here's what I hope, Erica. I hope that you're able to give the rest of us some hope. Because Viola said married for 21 years. I said 90 days. I mean, I'm hopeful that you're going to drive this home and give us some hope.
Yes.
That is hilarious. You know, we'll be laughing about this later on this evening.
Yes.
But it's so funny what Viola outlined, because I've been married twice, so I'm on my second right now. And my first husband was absolutely amazing. We had the tough conversations from the very beginning. And he knew that I was extremely ambitious. We talked about whoever's career took off first, the other would trail. And so we had those very hard conversations. And so I was married for 20 years, and my ex-husband and our family moved 11 times. So we lived in 5 different states. And so he was always the trailing spouse, well-educated, master's degree. So he could have launched and did a lot of different things. But because he was the trailing spouse, he made a lot of sacrifices. And like Viola, he and I are great friends to this day. I still laugh. I think it's quite funny. He just recently got remarried. Her name is Erica as well. Cracks me up. Current husband, we had those same type of really tough conversations as well. And I think as long as you can do that and keep your foundation strong, things can work. But you do have to be honest. And I had to be willing to hear that won't work for me. I would have rather heard that won't work for me than to say what he wanted to hear and get involved in the situation and then have to make a lot of allowances, right? Or have resentment and not be happy. So honesty, best policy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I just have to comment. I think it's beautiful. I know we've had some laughs, but what it shows me is the level of maturity that each of you young ladies have to still have rapport and still have a relationship. Because, Madam, I think President, you mentioned, seasons, right? Just because something didn't work out, right? There were still things that God gave you from that relationship or those relationships. There's still nuggets and gifts. And I think it takes a level of maturity. And Viola, you said it earlier. For me, I can only be my authentic self. It starts with that relationship. You have your spiritual relationship and learning about forgiveness. And, I just look at so many people. I too have been married before, and my ex-husband and I, we have a nice relationship, because the one thing I told him, just because we didn't make it, we still must make it as parents. Okay. So I have to tell you, I just admire that type of maturity.
Yeah. That's good.
That is awesome. So, Erica, you have your supportive mother that was really close with you, that helped you a lot. And Viola, you had your supportive sister that gave you, control yourself emotionally, advice. But, there's a lot of people out there that are really kind of doing this on their own. They a lot of people don't have supportive spheres, or maybe they have spheres, but they're not supportive. I know that there was at one point Oprah speaks about her childhood and the career path that she wanted to go on, and it was the recommendation of her grandmother to basically be a handmaid like her, and not to excel. So, you know, she didn't have basically that spear to push her. So in the event that, you know, you, the professionals and the people out there that don't have that a supportive spear, that spear of influence, what would you suggest, or what advice would you give them to keep them pushing? And Erica, I will start with you on this one, on this question.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think what my immediate response would be build your network and leverage others. So I think many of us are really blessed with great friendships. And sometimes we feel like we're bothering other people, you know, by having an ask or sharing a need or even just sharing our fears, right? It's so important to build that network of friends, colleagues, and know that you can do it, right? I think it's really important to know your own strength, have confidence in your abilities. We are stronger than we can imagine. And we talked about this before, that oftentimes we as women, we hesitate. We don't go after that next big promotion because we feel like we have to have every single, you know, T crossed, every I dotted. But when you are able to build that network and leverage other people, it makes it easier along the way. But you just keep pushing. Be strong in your faith, as Viola mentioned, and keep going. So I wrote a book called We Got This. A lot of people, you know, kind of see me in my career and think it was all rosy and easy, and I just kind of went up this ladder. I dealt with a lot of trauma when I was younger. And one of the reasons why I wrote the book was so that women knew, especially women, it's for everybody, but especially women knew, no matter what you go through, no matter who may drop to the sidelines, you still have you. And you are the most important person to protect. And you keep going. You put your eye on your prize, whatever that is, and you don't let anything get in your way, but know how to leverage people along the journey as well.
I love that.
Uh,
Gosh, love it.
Y'all are making me feel those feelings from back in the day.
I
Like,
know.
I feel
I
like
know.
Wow.
okay, Miss Viola.
You know, I can say ditto to what Erica said. You know, just don't do this alone. You know, when you do it alone, it's lonely. And nobody, you don't have to, it's so many people out here that you can admire and get in their space. You know, you can stalk them even if you want to. They don't have to know it, right? But get in their space. And I know we're going to talk about mentoring later, but I would identify a few people that I admire and just try my best to, you know, learn from them. And so for me, I would also say listen to, you know, on the other side of that, I don't even know if we've asked this part of the question, but listen to motivational speeches and encourage yourself, because if you have to be by yourself, I mean, when everybody else sees you, they're going to say, I want some of that. What is that they have? And I know that when Letitia spoke the last time at Midwinter, she got up there so calm, but we had just had prayer breakfast, right? And we had some good stuff, right? This that minister preached and everything. But I noticed how she got up there calm and she just said what she had to say, and it landed, it went home with me that I needed to be better. Yeah, I was enjoying that word, but you know what? You need to apply that word. And so I got the message, Letitia, and I just want you to know I was like, girl, that is some good stuff. So thank you. But I would say find the person that you admire, try to emulate or be in their space if you can, and certainly encourage yourself. Find some information that would encourage you.
That's great stuff. I love it. And as you ladies were speaking, I was thinking, and just from my own personal experience, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yes.
We get into our own, I call it, we go out there on our own islands, and we feel like we are in something all by ourselves. But even this in this form, just hearing you guys speak, you never know who you're speaking to and what you're touching. And so don't be afraid to ask for help. I was that person who used to be afraid to ask for help, particularly when I went through my divorce. But in what's amazing with that, the irony is that's when I was the most vulnerable. But I will tell you, I learned how to ask for help, and I learned how to receive help and be grateful for it. So I think that's huge. So, Viola, you talked about us kind of segueing to the mentoring. So, yeah, I'm going to get straight to it. So, we've heard a lot about executives, mentioning mentoring. Anytime we see a good executive, Erica, each of you have talked about that. So here's my question. How did you find a mentor, your own mentor? How did you approach that? And then, are you available for mentoring? And if so, how do we contact you? And I say that with a giggle, but seriously, I think that's something I'm challenging each of us on this call today. If we're not, I'm challenging myself really. We need to make ourselves available for that. Okay, so I'll be quiet and allow y'all to answer that question.
No, that was good. Erica, you want me to go first?
Go right ahead.
Oh, okay. So I will tell you that for me, I have to be impressed with my mentor. Just anybody's not going to mentor me. I don't care what status you have in an organization. I have to find something appealing about you because I need to admire the person that's mentoring me. That's just me personally. I want to always put myself in a place where I'm learning, I'm listening, and I'm growing from my mentor. And so I have had some wonderful mentors in my life and my career. I'm still looking for mentors, but let me tell you that some of the folks that have mentored me, you probably wouldn't even imagine why I would have them mentor me. But I will tell you that I have grown tremendously, and all I want is the end result. So I'm so grateful that they have been in my life and they've poured into me. And so yes, I'm available to mentor someone. I don't mind, but I'm certainly serious about, you executing on the things that we are sharing. So that's one thing. I don't, none of us have time to just chit chat or whatever and play around or whatever, but we definitely have to be serious about it if you want to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm willing to do it. I'll put in the work.
Well, thank you, my sister.
Yes.
It's so important to pay it forward, right?
Yes.
So I do mentor people today. I have had 2 different executive coaches, but I asked for them throughout my organization. So Truist is really dedicated to the growth and development of their leaders. And so I did have an executive coach through Truist as well. And Viola, you hit the nail on the head. It's what do you see in someone else that you want, where you want to improve that skill set, where you want to enhance that attribute, right? And approach them and just ask. It's not hard to ask the question, right? But then you also have to know, do I want this person to be my executive coach, or do I want them to eventually be my sponsor? Because it could be 2 different things, right? And so your sponsor is going to help you navigate a challenge, help you navigate through an organization, speak on your behalf in the room. Let's say that you're up for a promotion. You need that sponsor speaking on your behalf. That's really important. So just understanding the difference of those, a mentor, a sponsor, how to approach the person. And generally when someone comes to me to ask me to be their mentor, they're telling me what it is that they need help with. And then I'm truly assessing. It's not an ego trip. I'm truly assessing, am I the best person to help you? And if I'm not, I'm going to recommend someone else who I know is better in that space than I am, because the goal is to help you get to where you want to go.
Right.
Exactly. I'm gonna say the there is only one thing that I will proclaim to be well put together that I do, and that's my outfit. Outside of that, like to say, oh, Letitia, you're so well put together, that I know, and I am so super comfortable with Letitia. I know the areas at which, I need improvements. I know the area that I excel in. And I think that a part of it, and Viola, you hit the nail on the head when you said it has to be someone that I look up to, someone that I admire. Because it doesn't mean that that person has to be in the industry that you're seeking to go up the ladder in. It's
So
something that you see within that person that can help you grow in whatever area that you need growth in. So that also means you need to analyze self. You need to be honest with yourself. And the reason that I can get on here and joke about my life, my crazy life, because that's not even the half of it, is because Letitia is comfortable with Letitia. Letitia is comfortable with the decisions that Letitia has made. And there is not one person in this world that's going to make me feel uncomfortable about where I am, because they don't know where I came from.
Right.
But I also understand, okay, well, I need help here. I need help here. And I really appreciate, LaTanya, I know you've come back as a sponsor, but I really appreciate you as an individual, as a partner, and you don't know it, but I look at you as that mentor, as that, because when we have those candid conversations, you give me what I need to grow this organization. And I
Okay.
appreciate that.
Aw.
Now, don't you do it.
No,
Do it. Yeah.
It
Oh,
is
wow,
it is a
Letitia.
fact. No, it's 100%. If I were to pick up
Yeah.
the phone and I call LaTanya, if I call her tomorrow and I say, LaTanya, what is it that we're not doing that we need to do? LaTanya's going to tell me.
Yeah.
And that was when I was local chapter president and now national chapter president. And you don't know how much that means to me, but I'm here to tell you right now on this national platform that means everything. Because how do I grow? I know my limitations. I seem like I'm a people person. I'm not the most amazing people person. But because of that,
She absolutely is.
no, but because of that, I rely on my partners and that mentorship. So, for everybody on here, and Erica, I mean, you guys, you've been a great ad. Viola, amazing.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. This is not something that you're born to do.
Right.
I know they say leaders are born. Well, that's great, but some leaders need to be tweaked.
That's
Yeah.
right. You have to continue to cultivate it. Letitia,
Absolutely.
thank you. First of all, I'm honored and blown away, and I received that, and I love you so much, and you know that. And I think each person, Viola, we talked about the other piece of that is trusting. Having someone that you can trust. And I know for me, a mentor is someone, you mentioned this, Letitia, who's going to tell me the truth. See, I don't need a yes person, right? In other words, I need for you to call me out.
Yeah.
in love, right?
Yes.
And
right.
I think that we have all had enough experience to know the difference in that. Someone who's invested in my growth. But that needs to go both ways. Because see, I don't succeed unless everyone here succeeds.
That's right. That's right. And I just wanted to say to Letitia, like, that is so beautiful what you said. And I think women near and far need to hear that you got to be comfortable with yourself.
Yes.
You have to own it. We make our decisions. You got to own your decisions. You got to be comfortable with who you are, because it's only then that you're really going to be receptive to what other people have to say.
Absolutely.
And it's really beautiful. It's a great message.
Absolutely. And you believe them. It's automatically a trust. It's a trust that I have with Letitia, because I know she's coming with it. And and that's a gift. And Letitia, let me return it to you. I admire you, for as much as I'm pretty authentic, but I admire when someone, to your point, listen, I've lived my life. I've earned this. I have nothing to be ashamed of, because in my opinion, that's the enemy's biggest weapon against us, is making us feel ashamed. Take
Yes.
away the shame and step into what God has you to be. Okay, I'm not going to preach. Okay.
All right now.
Amen.
It's good.
It's on point.
It's good stuff.
Amen. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, ladies, for that. So everybody has touched base on the mentorship. Now, Miss Latanya, are you available for mentorship?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Great. So before we close out, what we did last episode, we asked Erica what was one of the affirmations that she uses, and she blessed us by letting us know her affirmation. And let me know if I'm getting it wrong, Miss Erica. I am bold. I am courageous. I am grateful.
Yep.
I loved that. Viola, I wanted to ask you, is there any affirmation that you tell yourself or a little kind of pick me up phrase that you give yourself or a reminder every day that we can take away?
I'm enough.
Ooh.
Yes.
You just made the hair stand up on my arm. Woo.
That's it.
Damn it.
I'm enough.
Drop, mic drop.
Exactly.
Amen.
I was just about to discontinue the live because that's it. That's it.
That's all we need.
Amen.
That's all we need.
Amen. Well, everyone, before Madam President, I pass it off to you. Our next episode is about supporting our next boss lady, and we will be able to have Miss Viola back on, as well as our incoming president, our first VP, Madam Ida, and some other surprises guests on. So definitely stay tuned for that. And Madam President, I'm going to go ahead and pass the torch back to you.
Of course. Well, thank you so very much, Madam Tanya. Thank you so much for all that you do for us here on Professional Women in Real Estate. You are doing a phenomenal job. You just stepped in and took it right on over. This was just a dream, and here it is as a reality. Guys, when we ended with this last question about mentorship, and when we talk about those areas at which you know that you need help with and having a support system, that's exactly what our first vice president is to me when it comes to Women's Council. And you guys will hear about it next week. But having someone to be able to bounce those ideas off of, it is greatly beneficial. You are not expected to be everything to all people, but you can find someone that will meet the need of what you're missing. So that's what I encourage everyone to do. I'm thankful for our audience being on the line today. Look, and we are just shy of our 45 minutes, but I'm going to be honest, we could have continued this for another 45 minutes. It's just powerful to be able to share with all the women that are out there. So again, I thank you. My name is Letitia Grant. I am the president of Women's Council of National Association of Real Estate Brokers, and we look forward to hosting you next week. Do we have a final word from our sponsors? And we'll start with you, Erica. Then we'll go to you, Viola. Actually, let's start with Latanya, Erica, and then Viola.
Well, again, I'm just honored to be here and share this stage with such phenomenal women. You guys make me better. Prime Lending is so appreciative of the opportunity and the partnership, because you help us, you fill in the gaps and help grow us as a company. So we are eternally grateful for that.
Thank you, Latanya. And I feel just incredibly grateful to spend this time with you all. I have received so many gifts throughout the two meetings. So hopefully I'll be invited back. Truist is certainly a partner at the table. We appreciate all that you do. So thank you tremendously.
And thank you from US Bank. You know, we are certainly aligned with Women's Council and NARAB. We appreciate all you do. So continue to do what you're doing. Take care.
Thank you, guys. We have a great evening.
Okay.
Thank you.